Hi everyone, it's Emmy and welcome back to my channel. So first of all, I want to thank you guys for 1,000 subscribers. It really means a lot to me and encourages me to keep making videos so that you guys can learn something and I can be of use for you. So today is July 16th and the common application opens on August 1st, so in 2 short weeks. That means for rising seniors, it's almost officially college application season. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about how to fill out the activity section on your common application in order to best present yourself and what you've done throughout your high school career. Alright, so basically in high school, you've spent like 4 years doing all of these different activities, spending your time on all your different interests. But it doesn't matter if you can't present it well. On the Common App, you can put 10 activities, and for each activity, you only have 50 characters to describe the organization and your role in it, and then 150 characters to describe what you've achieved and accomplished in that organization. So you owe it to all the hours you spent in your activities to make sure you present them well and highlight all of your successes and achievements. So first I'll be talking about how to write the descriptions for activities, and I'll be providing a few examples from my own common application. So first of all, the role/organization heading, 50 characters, is pretty straightforward. So something like President of Math Honor Society, or co-founder of, and then like a name of the club or organization. The description part is where you really have to pick and choose what you put. You want to highlight your achievements and responsibilities if you're in a leadership position. For example, you should put things like operating a fundraiser, increasing membership, winning awards, and to maximize your character count, you want to use incomplete sentences in the description. You also want to use action verbs such as oversee, lead, found, organize. So I'll be providing examples for all of these tips when I show you guys what I wrote for my descriptions. So beside the descriptions, the common application also asks you a few questions for each activity. It asks you to categorize each activity, and there are a bunch of options such as academic, community service, paid work, family responsibilities, student government, social justice. There are a bunch of categories, and this is pretty straightforward. You just want to put your activity into whichever category that best fits it. It also asks you which grade levels you participated in each activity and whether you did it during the school year, all year round, or during like summer breaks. And then the next question they ask is how many hours you spent on the activity every week, and then how many weeks every year. Make sure you don't like overestimate it just to make your activity seem more impressive, because if you do that for every activity, it just won't be reasonable. Every week there are 24 hours in 7 days, so that's 168 hours in total. You spend maybe 7 hours a day sleeping, and then you also spend like 6 hours at school 5 days a week, and then minus travel time, meals, studying every day. It basically comes down to around 40 to 50 hours that you're spending on all your different activities every week. And the final extra question they ask about your activities, whether you plan to continue it in college. So I would generally recommend saying yes, because that shows you have kind of long-lasting interest. It's not something that you just did in high school for your college applications. It's like an interest or passion you want to keep pursuing into college, and you can contribute to a similar organization on a college campus. However, for things like high school honor societies or like volunteering for an organization that's very specific to your local area, then you might not want to put that you would continue them in college. So now I'm going to be giving you guys some examples for how I answered those extra questions and described my activities. So I'll put screenshots over here. First up, I have editor-in-chief of my school's student newspaper. I categorized it under journalism publication. I censored the name of my school's newspaper, but I did put that under that box. I participated in sophomore, junior, and senior year. It was all year round, so we did write articles and edit them during the summer as well. I also took a class for this activity, so I kind of counted that in my hours per week as well. and I put continue because I want to keep doing something like journalism publications in college. So now let's look at the description. I put oversee staff of 30, edit, provide feedback on articles and lead workshops, grade articles and manage classroom activities, designed new website. So you can see what I mean by using short, snappy sentences now. I kind of had a sentence for every responsibility that I had, and I tried to optimize every character. I believe I used 141 characters for this description, so I didn't use the full amount, but this got across what I wanted to say about this activity. For my next example, this is the Java programming class that I started in my junior year. I put it under community service instead of like technology, which I think is another category option, because the main purpose of me doing this activity, like starting a Java class, is for the purpose of community service and serving younger girls in my area. So I did this during the school year and 4 hours a week. So the class was like 1 hour a week, and then I spent around 3 hours a week writing up like lesson plans and coordinating emails for this activity. I want to continue it in college because I want to do some more service for girls in STEM types of activities. The role I had was founder and mentor because I started this class and then I also taught the students. For the description, it was pretty simple. So teach local middle school girls Java programming through lesson plans, games, and demonstrations. So that was just one sentence that basically summarized what I was doing in that activity. And then I have recognized by National Center for Women and IT. So the Common Application has a separate section for you to list 5 awards. But this honor that I won for my volunteer work was pretty small, so I didn't put it in the main award section, but I thought it was still worth mentioning to kind of quantify my impact and show what recognition I received for this activity. So I put it with the activity description. And that's a strategy I highly recommend if you won a lot of awards for a specific activity. With creative writing, for example, I put 3 writing awards in the award section, but I actually got a lot more honors like finalists and honorable mentions. So in my activity description, I put something like won awards regionally/nationally. For my next example, this is Math Honor Society. So I was in this all 4 years of high school, and I only did it during the school year. And it was pretty low time commitment, only like 2 hours a week for like meetings and then like tutoring and logistics stuff. So I put president of Math Honor Society, and then in the description, increased membership from 30 to 90. Notice how I didn't say like 30 to 90 students because that's kind of implied. And then I put led workshop on peer tutoring strategies, organized school-wide Pi Day activities, and STEM night for local kids. So this is pretty standard, I think, for an honor society. So I have another tip that I want to talk about now. For Math Honor Society, I also helped write grants and get funding for our events like Pi Day and STEM night, but I decided not to put that in the activity description. And that's because for math team, which I was also part of, I also wrote grants and I put it in the description over there. So I decided that putting it under Math Honor Society as well would be repetitive, and I wanted to show some variety, the different things I was doing for different organizations. Now for my final example, I was a volunteer at a local retirement home. I did this all 4 years, only during summer break, so that's why it says break over there. And it was 6 hours per week, 8 weeks per year. So in my description, I had 200 service hours, teach bi-weekly class on electronic device usage, converse with residents, plan activities, lead orientation for new volunteers. So yeah, I quantified my impact by saying I received 200 service hours, and then I also showed that I had responsibility in this role by leading the orientation for newer volunteers. Okay, so those are all the examples that I'm showing in this video. Now I'm going to talk a bit about how to choose which activities to put on your app and how to order them. So since you only have space for 10 activities and maybe you participated in fewer or maybe more than 10 activities, so if you have more, you kind of want to be selective about which ones you put. Ultimately, I recommend choosing the ones you spent more time on or had a bigger role or impact in. You don't have to put things like freshman year member of biology club, on your application if you have like more impressive or club that you spend more time and dedication on. So the basic rule to ordering your activities is putting the ones that you care more about, are more passionate about at the top, and then kind of progressing down, so your least important one is near the bottom. So for me, I put volunteering at the retirement home at the bottom of my list because I'd only done it during the summer and it was pretty low time commitment for me. Something else to consider is grouping similar activities together. For example, if you do swim team, I would recommend putting your high school swim team and club swim together. Or if you do orchestras, like multiple orchestras outside school, I would put like your music related activities together. And it shows that from your interest in a specific area, you pursued that interest and had multiple activities to show for it. Alright, so those are all of my tips for this video. Leave any questions you have in the comment section down below and other videos you want to see from me. I hope it was helpful, and for all those writing seniors out there who are getting started on their Common App and college applications, best of luck, you got this. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.